She cut me off while I was talking. "We are going with my plan instead," she said, her voice hard practiced and desperate for attention. It was the CEO's daughter, Chloe, the one who used to get coffee during our team meetings, now dressed in power. Her father bought it for her, the investors. Looked at her, then at me, confused. Then one of them clapped. The rest followed them like sheep, applauding theft masked. As a new idea, I closed my laptop. Slowly, the click was louder than their clapping. "Enjoy the money," I said, and walked out. They thought I was embarrassed. They thought that was my loss, but being humiliated has always been my best disguise. Chloe and I met 3 years ago. Her father, George, had just hired me to fix the company's failing product. I was the outsider with new ideas, the quiet one who stayed late while others went out for drinks. She was curious about me too. Curious, she would stay in my office asking questions she did not grasp, laughing too loudly at jokes I never made. She wanted to learn, or so I thought. So I showed her things, my designs, my predictions, my early models, she said. She liked my accuracy. I believed her when I started creating the presentation, the one that was meant to rescue the company. She offered to help with the creative part. I was foolish enough to think she meant colors and fonts, not the whole idea. 2 nights before the investor meeting, she asked for the file to review it. I sent it. That was my mistake, or perhaps my first test. The morning she stole my work, I noticed something odd. The slides were exactly the same, every detail, every word except for one thing. Her name was where mine should have been. I should have been angry, but anger is noisy, and noisy people make mistakes. I stayed quiet after the applause stopped. I walked out of that glass office in Miami, Florida, with a smile that made even her uncomfortable. She did not get it then, but that smile was the beginning of her downfall. My plan started 12 hours before the presentation, because I knew I had seen her meeting secretly with the investors last week, whispering over wine. I had read the accidental text she sent me instead of her father. He will not see it coming, so I made sure she would not see me coming. Either I replaced the real test data with fake data, a version that seemed good, but would fail when scaled up. Everything looked real, the predictions, the performance charts, even the test outcomes, but the system had a secret kill switch, one line of code buried deep. The moment the investors began their follow-up check, it would activate, ruining her version completely. And the real data, the one that worked, was safe on a private server owned by a small business I quietly controlled. At 3 a.m. I was sleeping when the loud knocking started. It was the CFO, pale, sweating through his tie. "The demo failed," he said. "The investors are furious," they said. "Chloe's product is unstable." I leaned against the doorway. "Unstable," I repeated, pretending to think. He nodded. "Desperate. They are pulling the money unless we show the working version, the one your version was based on." I took a slow breath. I deleted my files after the presentation. "Company property. Remember his face? Lost all color. Please, we will pay you." Well, I held his gaze for a moment, then said, "You will have to talk to George." When I closed the door, I heard him curse under his breath. That was when I knew the fear had spread. By 9 a.m., my inbox was full. First from Chloe, then from her father, then from the board. All of them were apologies disguised as urgent requests, all begging for my technical help. I agreed to a meeting, not for cash, not for praise, but to finish it. They were already seated. When I entered, Chloe looked smaller. Her makeup smudged, her voice shaky. "I did not mean for it to happen this way," she started. I stopped her. "You meant for it to happen exactly this way," George cleared his throat. "Let us not talk about who is to blame. We just need the working version." I slid a USB drive across the table. "You will find what you are looking for there." He reached for it like a drowning person grabbing a rope, but I said, stopping him, "It is under my company's legal ownership now. I moved the ownership last week, filed and dated." His hand stopped. "You can, not I can," I said calmly. "You see, when you let your daughter showcase my work, you broke the secret agreement clause that automatically gave the rights back to the creator." Silence. Chloe's face fell first, then George's. I leaned forward. "You wanted her to be the leader. Congratulations. She led you straight out of your own product line. The investors, they called me that afternoon. They had seen the reports, the failure, the mess, and the registered patents under my new business. They wanted to work with me on my terms this time. I did not ask for revenge. I built a one Line one signature at a time now, when I think back to that moment, her voice interrupting my presentation, the applause, the humiliation, I realize. IT was not betrayal that broke me. IT was trust that made me stronger, because without her, betrayal I would never have built. Something entirely mine, and as for Chloe, she will always remember that. Applause just before everything she stole fell apart under her name.